Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Necrozma and the Dusk main variant here in Pokemon Go, but today we're going to have a different kind of moveset on this Pokemon. I used 10 charge TMs to get one different charge move, which is going to be, in this case, the move Outrage, and this is going to change quite a lot for this Pokemon, allowing it now to bait out potential Dragon-type Pokemon, and also destroying them now with a nuke move is quite a lot of fun, I have to say. So let's take a look at the first battle here. In comes that Palkia and goes down immediately after us from our attack move Outrage here. Let's see what they're gonna do next. They're gonna go back into a Dialga, or we can go ahead and go for another Outrage and might even be able to force a shield here against the opponent, which is going to already showcase on how much power Outrage has on this Pokemon. I see a lot of other people also run Outrage on this thing. It's like not the newest thing ever, but like Dark Pulse is usually recommended, but Outrage definitely has a lot of play. Here they try their best to still come back from this game, but like there is no way. We're going to have the Ho-Oh in the back as well. Basically, we're going to have a lead that is okay against those Dragon-type Pokemon, basically, with having our own Dragon with Dragon Breath, and we have a Pokemon in the back that's quite weak against Dragon-type Pokemon with the Ho-Oh, and so here we kind of try to always bait them out and win this battle here as well. Also, cool thing here is we're going to have as a say-swap a Pokemon that can bait out potential water types as well, because usually water types would swap into you because you're going to have basically the steel typing, which is usually resisted onto water type Pokemon, and your lead is going to be very good against water type Pokemon, so it is quite a decent matchup there as well. We're going to see here as well the opponent is swapping into a Dialga. I can swap back into my Necrozma. Necrozma is going to be able to even take a hit usually, but the opponent decides to forfeit anyway. Next opponent, Dialga in the lead. We can swap out straight away into our Necrozma. In comes the Ho-Oh. That is a little bit of an annoying matchup for us. It's not something that you can win at all, but at least you can still do a lot of damage here with that Outrage. This is going to be able to get a ton of damage onto it, and we can try our best here to let the move go through. There's nothing that I can really do about it. I'm mostly going to be forced as well to take a hit here from the opponent with that Brave Bird, because at the end of the day, we're going to get aligned again against that Dialga. And maybe we can get a shield advantage against Dialga. I'm not too sure about it, if we can maybe try to bait with our Awkward Tail here, but I don't think they're gonna fall for it either. So we're gonna be a little bit of a tough spot here. We can swap out. We're gonna have the Ho-Oh against the opponent. We have to see what they have in the back there. As they're staying in, they might be a little bit weak. They're gonna go for very likely a Roar of Time, or maybe even the bait of Iron Head. Let's see. It's going to be the Roar of Time, which is great for us. This is going to take a little bit more energy from the opponent. Sacred Fire is going to be able to knock them out here very likely, as they're going to reveal their final Pokemon being the Landorus. And here, I don't know, maybe I make a little bit of a mistake. I feel like Landorus just charges so fast to the charge moves. I think they can just go for 2 Stone Edges and they're going to be fine. Very likely could have just went for Brave Bird the entire time though, which would have been a bit better. But yeah, Stone Edge coming through. We are going to be able to go for another move here to try to debuff them. I feel like this is kind of silly play by me to go for the Sacred Fire the entire time. Don't think it matters. I think even with Brave Bird there was no way of me winning this battle. So good game to the opponent here. We sadly just barely miss out on that Awkward Tail, and we can move on to the next opponent. Kyogre in the lead is going to be a lovely one for us. They swap out straight away into the Dialga. I'm going to try to get a shield here from them by going for a potential spatial event. Of course, we don't have that here. We have a Shundo Palkia. I'd rather have the Shundo available here for me than having like a worse one built with a better move. Yes, it would be better in general, but like a Shundo from a raid is quite ridiculous. It's my only Shundo that I ever got from a raid, and that is something that I definitely wanted to build anyway. Here we're going to be able to go for that Outrage, knock out the opponent's Dialga, and in comes again the Kyogre, which you can still at least punish here a little bit with that Outrage. You can survive a Surf for sure. This is going to be not enough to knock us out. We can even go for another fast move, and Outrage is going to be able to connect. Does around like 50% of the opponent's health most likely, and so they are going to be already in a red health with it. So we're going to swap back into our Palkia, and this is going to be a good game. Xerneas has no play against Ho-Oh, and so we're going to be able to move on. So let's see what the next opponent is going to have here. We're going to have a Dialga. We can swap out straight away into a Necrozma just to get hardwalled again by the Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is going to be a very tough matchup for us. This is going to be able to still do some damage, but again, like as we saw before already, our best play is most likely to just go ahead and let the move go through here. But we actually were able to get a shield, which is kind of important, because now we are going to be able to just knock them out with one Awkward Tail. And yeah, we can take a hit here, but we at least get the guaranteed shield advantage, which we didn't have before. They even go for the Sacred Fire for whatever reason, and so we can go for Awkward Tail. They might be able to survive it now because they got the debuff here, which they do, but at least like this is going to be the best position that we could have been in. Like, we have a lot of health still left on our Palkia. We have now our Ho against the opponent. They're going to swap out into the Landorus. I can just go for the Brave Birds. This should just be the Sansia Storm though. So I feel like we're in a very good spot here right now, just going for the Brave Bird. But then again, maybe I make a little bit of a mistake. The opponent goes to a shield, all fine. I can go for another Brave Bird here. Gonna be now at -4 defense, which is not ideal, of course. But also, I am going to be in a position now where they can fully farm me down, and I just did not play this well. Like, honestly, I should have just went for the Sacred Fire instead of the Brave Bird, and I would have been able to do way more damage against the opponent's Dialga. But also, if we had the actual correct moveset here, we would have been able to win this battle, because Spatial Rent would have been available already. We don't have it, and so sadly we're going to miss out on this win, just because we don't have that Legacy move. It is quite sad that the Legacy move is unobtainable right now. Like, you cannot get this through an Elite TM, otherwise of course I would go for Spatial Run for sure. But we have to hope the Niantic maybe gonna make it available for some people eventually down the line, hopefully, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of silly to have like those Hundos and Shandos locked behind not having the correct moveset. It is definitely more impactful for Palkia than for Dialga. If you have a Dialga in the Origin form with the Draco Media, it's still going to be kind of performing very similar to Raw of Time. Of course, Raw of Time is still going to be better, but here it's definitely more impactful for the Palkia, because the Spatial Rent is just taking way less energy than Draco Media does. And so, yeah, it's kind of a sad thing for us, for sure. Anyway, Tyranitar comes back in. We're going to be still in our okay spot here. We can go for the Sacred Fire, get the final shield from the opponent. Sadly, don't get the debuff. I feel like I definitely did not get the 50% chance for it. But anyway, we're going to be able to store up a 1 Awkward Tail, and in comes the Palkia again, getting punished by that big Outrage here, going to be able to one-shot the opponent, and in comes the Tyranitar, which might be able to knock me out here, but we still have the Awkward Tail stored anyway, and so it does not matter what they're gonna do here. We can just go ahead and knock them out, and this is going to be a very good game there. Again, Outrage coming in clutch. Next opponent, we're going to have a Melmetal in the lead. I was like, I don't really know how to play against this Pokemon. Melmetal, one of the Pokemon I would really like to see getting a little bit of a buff. I feel like Double Iron Bash needs to be a little bit stronger, like even put up to 60 damage in my opinion would be totally fine. But anyway, we're going to catch the Rock Slide from the opponent, very likely running Rock Slide plus the Super Power on this Pokemon. And in comes now the Groudon, and make a big mistake here, to be fair. I was expecting, okay, this is definitely going to be a Fire Punch, by the way, but I was expecting that I would go for a shield here onto a Sunsteel Strike. Like, Sunsteel Strike, one of the strongest moves in the game, would be Stab as well, like, would do so much damage, but they didn't. Like, I would have just one-shot them if I went for the actual move. At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really matter too much, because we can at least still go for another Outrage and knock them out, and so we just give the opponent less farm, which is always kind of cool. But yeah, I'm going to decide to go into my Ho-Oh, and I'm going to decide also here to try to catch the move on to my Palkia. Didn't work out, but what does work out is that you can go for an Awkward Tail now, get the shield from the opponent, and even reach another one afterwards as you decide to stay in for way too long. If they let the move go through here, they're going to be in trouble, because this is going to be Incinerate range, and it's going to reveal that they have another Steel-type Pokemon in the back. They're definitely going to be a little bit weak against Ho-Oh, but actually, I like their team idea, because what you can do is, if you're going to have Ho-Oh in the lead, you're going to be able to just stay in with your other Steel type of the Melmetal, having Rock Slide. But if you have it in the back, like basically it's kind of like an ABA style line in the Must League, which is kind of rare, and I kind of like it. So maybe I'm gonna take a look at this one, at least at this idea maybe later as well. Next opponent, we're going to have a Dialga, we're going to have a Ho-Oh. Kind of classic here, getting kind of walled by this kind of line. This kind of, I guess, the team that people try to run to counter the core of Palkia plus Necrozma, like the core that we are running here right now, is an obvious one. Like, it's not like that someone is like, oh, that's like such a crazy idea. Like, it is definitely easy to counter this kind of team that we are running here right now. But still, I had crazy good results with this team. I would really recommend you to try it out. Outrage especially helps out quite a bit. Here, we have to kind of try to go for the bait again. Basically thinking, oh, maybe we have Spatial Rent here, let's see if the opponent's gonna forfeit. They do forfeit, they usually forfeit, so it's actually not always going to be like a big issue that you don't have the move, but of course, like, you have not seen me go for a Draco Media yet. Here we have to kind of call a bait. If we don't, yeah, then it's game over anyway, and so exactly we're going to lose this one. Just a hard counter matchup, but speaking of a hard counter matchup, we're going to have a very good one here for us as well. I make a mistake. I should have not done this. Like, I don't even know why I did this. I should have just swapped out straight away. Like, there's no reason for me to stay in for this. Like, here's the issue that I have with what I did there, because now the opponent can outspeed me. If I just swapped earlier, I would have been fine. Like, this doesn't make literally zero sense on what I did there. But at least I can go for an Outrage now. That's great, right? Like, I don't know, like, that was really silly by me. I should have just swapped out straight away. Would have had a great matchup with Necrozma, and now at least I can still go for the Outrage, which I think does more damage than the Sunsteal Strike. I know Sunsteal Strike is resisted, but again, it's a very hard-hitting move, and it's a stab move, so maybe it is even better. I'm not too sure. But in comes now the opponent's Brave Bird. We are 2 shields down against Dialga in the back, and so we are kinda literally screw up the game for ourselves. Like, there's no way around it. I think this would have been definitely winnable if I played it a bit better, but I didn't, and so kinda sad. Definitely kinda sad here. I still decided to go for the Brave Bird to get the shield from the opponent. They can go for the Roar of Time. Iron Head is very likely going to be enough as well at this point, for sure enough. So, like, there's no way of me winning this battle, but it is what it is. You live and learn, I guess. We're gonna go down here, but yeah, definitely something that was winnable if I played it a bit better. Moving on, let's see, we're gonna have here Palkia against the Landorus. Landorus is going to be a great matchup for us in the lead, especially as our backline can struggle against this Pokemon. We're gonna see them staying in here as well, trying to go for the Sandsear Storm to get us a little bit low. But again, I'm quite happy if we're gonna get this Pokemon low or even take it down. Awkward Tail is coming through, they would be able to survive it thanks to the debuff that they got onto me, and they are going to be able to do exactly this. 1 HP in a dream for them, but we can still survive this here as well, as we can even swap out, and we're gonna get out the opponent's Togekiss. And honestly, I don't know what I did here. I decided to go for the Sunsteal Strike, which is totally fine, would be able to knock them out most likely. Going to be able to get shielded, but I think now afterwards here, did I go for the bait? I'm not too sure. I thought I would, maybe there was like one game where I went for the bait a lot of times, but Aura Sphere is coming through, and I decided to go for the Sunsteal Strike. That's totally fine. We're going to be able to knock them out with this one. No real risk taken here. That is totally happy. In comes the opponent's Necrozma. I can go for another Sunsteal Strike. There's no real reason to not do that. And now they're going to use a shield here guaranteed. I can swap out into my Ho-Oh. 1 Brave Bird is all it takes, and we are going to be in a very solid spot. I can let the move go through no matter what it's going to be. I can also use a shield, doesn't really matter. Moongeist Beam would be fine, Dark Pulse would be fine. I wait until they go for a fast move, which I did here, and I can go for the Brave Bird. Knock them out, win the battle, easy peasy. Let's move on to the next opponent. Palkia against Zygarde. That is not ideal whatsoever, but our entire team is a little bit tricky against it. You see here the insane amount of lag in the beginning. Good thing we have World Championships literally this weekend, but yeah, we can still at least go ahead and go for an Awkward Tail. This is going to be, or like next weekend actually, we're still on a weekend. But yeah, anyway, we're going to let the move go through. It's going to be the Crunch, and we can store 1 Awkward Tail for later. Maybe it's going to come in clutch against Pokemon like a Ho-Oh here. This might be the case. But we are definitely still in a very tough position at this point. We can go for the Outrage and actually get them quite low with that, which is cool. And I was hoping that they maybe go for a Brave Bird here, that would be funny, but they go for the Sacred Fire, which is okay. I can go for another Outrage. This is going to be able to get the shield very likely here, or even the knockout. We can align ourselves. That is happy. That is happy days there for sure. We're going to try to reach another move, but they go for a charge move, which is totally happy for me as well. As now I can take the Crunch, I can go into my Ho-Oh. No depends on all what they have kind of in the back here. I can let the move go through. A Crunch is not going to hurt me too much, and I still even have, oh, it's an Outrage. That is hurting a little bit more, but we can go for a Brave Bird here. That is quite lovely. The opponent is very likely going to have to use this shield here as well, and we have still the Awkward Tail stored, which is going to allow us to get the knockout here. Not really, but we can go for the full farm down, and so the opponent is in a very tough spot, impossible for them to win. We can just go for the Brave Bird and nuke the opponent's Zygarde. Goodbye there, and we can move on to the next opponent after this Brave Bird lands. Final one for today. This is going to be a Mewtwo in the lead. That is going to be quite a neutral one for us. We could decide to catch a move here on to our Necrozma, as the Side Strike is going to be double resisted and so doing barely any damage against us. But at this point the opponent actually catches the move onto the Dialga. Great catch, like for sure. Here I can just go into my Necrozma. Necrozma is going to have a great time there. I can go for the Outrage, doing some neutral damage against the opponent and quite a lot of it at the same time as well. But the opponent decides to use a shield. I should always be able to outspeed them, by the way. We generate energy 1 more per turn than the opponent, and Outrage has, I think, the same energy than at least Draco Media, and so I think we're going to be fine. But anyway, we're going to be able to knock them out anyway now here, as the opponent is going to go back into their Mewtwo. I could decide to use a shield here. I am going to decide to use a shield. Yeah, it's going to be the Shadow Ball, so that's kind of fine for me. I can overfarm, keep some Outrage there as well, and I swap out into the Togekiss. This is looking okay for me, but it is still a tough one to go for. And yeah, this is actually the matchup that I misplay. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to go ahead and go back into our Steel type here in the Necrozma. I can overfarm. And I go for the Outrage. Double resisted move that needs like 5 more or less energy or whatever compared to Sunsteel Strike. Completely unnecessary to go for that. And now of course they're going to use a shield very likely because they can't go for the full farm down. And we're in such a bad spot. They have Ancient Power for sure. And they Blind Throw. They Blind Throw the Aura Sphere, which is resisted instead of the Ancient Power, and with this, they're going to lose the game, guaranteed. And so, thanks for that. Definitely a very good team to run. I would really recommend you try this team out. Climbed a lot with this team as well. And so, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.